Welcome to the Jump Revive program. I've created a super simple guide that you can follow step by step until you return to your sport. Before we get straight to the workouts, there are some things that you have to understand. When you're working with tendon pain, you have to understand your brain, your muscles, and your kinetic chain. Number one is the brain. The brain puts pain into your patella to protect it. This is a good thing because pain forces you to stop using your bad tendon. If you had no pain and you continued to train, you might risk rupturing your tendon. The first step in restoring normal brain function is stage 1 isometrics. This type of training helps to safely put load back through the tendon while balancing out the problems of inhibition and activation coming from the brain. If you are in very bad pain that you can't get rid of, there are some things that you can use. The first thing you can use is an auditory cue, specifically a metronome that works at 60 BPM. You can pair that auditory cue with a visual cue. That would be, for example, eye movement like this. You look up and you look down, and as the metronome goes click, 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 then you go up, down, not with the head, just with the eyes. Or you can also do it from side to side. The reason why this works is because you're activating your brain, and sometimes pain comes from your brain, so if you activate it and use it on something else, then it might help you with the pain. It's just a short-term thing that you can use for when you really can't get out of pain. Sometimes it can be helpful. And the last thing you can do if you can't feel your muscles is touch your muscle with your hand, and then you can feel the contraction. These can really help speed up the process of restoring normal brain function. Number 2, we have muscles. According to a leading tendon scientist called Jill Cook, the quadriceps and the calves are the two areas where you lose the most muscle size, strength, and function when you are dealing with knee pain. The whole leg is important. That's why you move on to stage number 2, which is lifting. It becomes about strengthening your shrinking muscles. And number 3, we have kinetic chain. When you are in pain, your body moves differently. Jumps become more of a hip hinge. Your landings become stiffer at the knees. This is why you need to improve your brain and your muscles in stage 1 and 2 to restore normal movement patterns and get out of pain. So it's very important that you understand you cannot move on to the other stages until you have gotten rid of the pain, so that you're not moving in a stiff and a bad manner. And in stage 3, store and release, you put it all together and you start pushing jumpy movements again. Now I'll show you the 4-stage process. Rehab is about climbing this ladder. You start at stage 1, which is isometrics. Here you get rid of the majority of the pain and you can start moving around normally, and you can start walking around again. Once you have done that, you move on to the next thing, which is stage 2, lifting. As your pain and function improves in lifting, you will move on to stage 3, store and release. It's a fancy word for jumping. As the pain and function in your body improves in store and release, you move on to stage 4, sports. And sport really depends on what kind of sport you're training. It will say exactly what you need to do until you're ready to progress on to the next stage. And now comes a super important part that will help you for the rest of your life. It is dealing with pain. Normally getting rid of knee pain is hard because there is no specific workout plan that works for everybody. But rehabbing the knee can also be simple because your knee tells you if it's happy or if it's sad. It tells you that with pain response or no pain response. You just need to learn how to listen to the body, and most importantly, when to listen to the body. When you are training, it is normal to have a little bit more tendon pain, as long as you are not in very bad pain. It's a normal part of rehab. A general guideline is a 3 out of 10 or below 3 out of 10 pain. So how exactly do you know if you have overdone your training? Well, you use your next day as a guide. If your pain is worse the morning after your session or 24 hours after, that is not okay. You have pushed too far. Your next day pain is the most important guide to getting out of pain. So if you are in pain, your tendon was just simply not able to recover because you did too much. Normally you say when you sleep, your tendon repairs and cleans itself up. But if you have done too much, it cannot repair all that damage. So be wary of this. If your knee feels good, you keep progressing. To determine next day pain, you have two options. Number one is the pain provocation test. This is a single leg decline squat. It's done to 90 degrees or to maximum allowed angle of your body. You do one repetition every single day at the same time and you keep note of that pain. If your pain is the same as the day before or it doesn't feel as bad, the day before has been successful and you can keep progressing. If the pain is worse, you have simply trained too hard. This is when it might be necessary to go a step down again the ladder. So for example, you go from stage 2 lifting down to isometrics stage 1 again. Or if you're jumping 100%, you jump 50% instead. You can also do less sets or less weight until the pain gets better. Number 2, which I use, is the next morning pain. The first test is good if you do everything the same way all the time. If it is too much of a hassle and sometimes you wake up later, sometimes you do some stuff and you forget, then the simplest way to see if you've overtrained is just getting out of bed and moving a little bit around, just walking. If you are in pain or your knees feel really stiff compared to the previous morning, that could be an indication that you have trained too hard. And you either need to do less or train less hard. So this guide, you can just follow it stage by stage. You don't have to watch everything at once. If you want to watch everything at once and understand it, that is completely okay to do, as it will give you a better insight on training. But if you don't really care and you just want to get over the knee pain, you can just follow them one step at a time and the guidelines will tell you when you are ready to move on. Alright, let's start with stage 1 isometrics. You will do this workout every day. If possible, you will do it twice per day, spaced at least 6 hours away from each other. For example, one session in the morning and then one session in the evening, and you will do the same workout twice. So before I tell you the main workout, I will give you a warm-up routine. This warm-up routine is there for if you feel like your leg gets locked easily. If that's so, you might have a twist in the knee. The stage 1 isometrics should be enough to fix that. But these exercises might help you along the way. Run through this whole sequence before doing your isometric workout. Number 1 is ankle rolls. You will do 20 reps each side. Preferably you will use a balance board like I show you here and move your ankles side to side. If you don't have a balance board, you can simply stand with slightly wider legs and just roll them from side to side. Number 2, you have tibial internal rotation. You will do 20 reps with each leg. You will get in a lunge position and you will grab your knee and start twisting it inwards. As you push your hip forward, you try to internally rotate your knee. You repeat this for 20 reps. Number 3, the wall single leg bridge. It will be 30 seconds each side. So you will keep the foot's tripod on the wall while you elevate the heel on a foam roller. You will lift your hips and keep a slight knee bend. You will bring the opposite knee up like shown. Number 4 is a 90-90 hip lift. And you will be holding this for 1 minute. You will have your heels on the bench. You will have something in between your legs like a foam roller so that you can engage your adductors. You will try to bring your hips to your rib cage, also known as a posterior tilt of the pelvis. Don't bring your hip up too high as you don't want it to go into your lower back. You want it to go into the glutes and the hamstrings. Hold the position and breathe. Then we have the 90-90 hip switches. You will do 20 reps each side. When you get better mobility, you want to try to keep your chest up as high as possible. And as you also get better, try not to use your hands behind you. At number 6, we have the arm bar. It will be 20 reps each side. You will use between 10 to 20 kilos on the hand. Your arm will be straight with the weight and then you will bring your knee up and down towards the floor. The opposite leg should just be straight. Number 7, we have the bench adductor. You will do 20 reps each side as well on this one. As it's going to be a warm-up exercise, you're not going to do the full movement. So you will be doing it from your knee on the bench. You will be in a side plank position. You will bring your hips up by engaging the adductors. Then let the hips go back down. Number 8 is just the full squat. You will be sitting in a full squat for 2 minutes. You will be grabbing onto something in front of you for balance, and you will squat down as deep as you can. Keep your heels on the floor and try to push your knees as forward as you can. Number 9, we have dumbbell side bends. You'll be doing 20 reps to each side of this movement. You'll grab a weight that's heavy but not so heavy that you can't get a full side bend. Remember, it's still a warm-up. Number 10, we have the hanging knee raise. You will be doing 20 reps of this exercise as well. You will hang from a bar with straight arms. You will bring your knees up to the chest. You will try to bring your hip up to your rib cage again. Together, these movements can help restore the range of motion in your lower body. After having done this as a warm-up, your knee should feel a little bit better and ready for your workout. With each workout, there will be a text beneath with all the things so that you don't have to watch the video all the time. So you don't have to do that exact warm-up 2 times a day. I used to do it once a day, and then I did the isometric exercises that I'm about to explain now. I did those twice a day. But first I will tell you about foot pressure. If you have knee pain, generally you tend to push the ground with your toes. You tend to toe grip. This is usually not a good sign, and when you are performing isometric exercises, you want to try to avoid it. For most of the movements where your foot is on the ground, you should try to keep balance on the tripod of your feet, as shown in the picture here. This will actually add strength to the arches of your foot. So the first exercise is a quadriceps isometric. You will be doing 5 sets of this. You will hold it one leg at a time for 30 to 45 seconds each side. It's an isometric hold, which means that you're not moving your legs, you're keeping them still and static in one position. You will have 2 minutes rest between each set. You will have 4 different exercises that you can pick and choose from. As you do these exercises, remember that your knee should not be over 3 out of 10 in pain. What you should be feeling is a massive hit to the quads. Your muscles should feel like they are working as hard as they can without knee pain. So remember, it's important at first to remove pain. So you don't go so heavy that you're always in pain. Remember that in all the exercises. The last few seconds of the set should feel really hard, and it should feel like your legs are about to give up. But remember, nothing is more important than staying out of the pain. So if you're doing it with extreme pain, you're doing it wrong, and your body is not ready to adapt to that yet. So the first exercise you can pick from is the single leg extension. For patellar tendinopathy, which was the jumper knee, you will be using a 60-degree angle of the leg. If you have a runner's knee, which is above the kneecap, you will be using a 90-degree angle of the leg. And if you have osgoods schlatter knee, or if you're an adult, you have pain in that area, you will also use the 90-degree angle. The second exercise you can pick is a single leg press. Same as above, you will do 5 sets of 30 to 45 second holds. If the knee hurts, you can try to put your foot a little bit higher so that your knee is not so forward. The most important thing is that your quads work hard. Number 3 exercise is the Spanish squat. You use bands so that you can stand upright. Once again, the angle of your stance determines which part of the knee that you're training. This is also 5 sets for 30 to 45 seconds. Number 4 exercise that you can pick is the single leg wall sit. 5 sets of 30 to 45 seconds. You'll be standing up against a wall on one leg. One thing that usually helps me is not trying to push down, but actually trying to push my leg forward as if I'm on a leg extension machine. Those are the 4 exercises that you can pick and choose from, but remember, only pick one of them each workout. Number 2 exercise will be the foam roller bridge. This is a 3-part progression. Once you can do the first exercise, you move over to the second exercise, and once you can do that well, you move over to the third one. You will be holding them for 3 sets of 30 seconds. The first one is the double leg bridge. You will have 2 feet on the foam roller. You will stay on the soft part of your foot and not your toes on the foam roller. Your butt should come off the ground, but not too high, because you don't want to feel the pain in your lower back. It will feel horrible in the calves and the hamstring. As your body gets stronger, these exercises should feel easier to do. You will do a calf raise so that your heels get off the floor. You will hold this for 30 seconds. Rest 2 minutes in between each set, as they are going to be very hard. Once that becomes easy, you will move on to the single leg bridge. It is almost the same position, but you will lift one of your legs up in the air. Once again, you will do a calf raise so that your heel gets lifted, and you will hold this position for 30 seconds, 3 sets. Once that becomes easy, you will move on to the third one, which is the single leg bridge with calf raises. It is the exact same position as the other one, but instead of holding the position, now you will be doing calf raises. And remember not to be on your toes on the foam roller, you will be on the soft part of your foot. Exercise number 3 is the isometric lunge or the isometric split squat. Here you will have 3 different exercises that you can pick from. You will only pick one each time you do this workout. You will hold 3 minutes totally on each side of the leg. If you can, you will hold the full time in just one set. If your technique starts dropping and you're standing in weird positions like you shouldn't be doing, then you can get up and just get ready for the next set. You take as many breaks as you need until you have accumulated 3 minutes on each side. The first exercise you can choose is the isometric lunge. You'll be standing in a long stride. Your front knee will be at around 90 degrees. Your chest will be up and your weight will be on the tripod of the foot again. You should try to lengthen out the back hip. Number 2 exercise will be harder. It is called the isometric split squat. Here you will be standing in a shorter stride where the back knee is right under your hip. And the front knee will be at around 60 to 90 degrees. Your chest will be up, your back glute will be squeezed, and once again you will have your weight on the tripod of your foot. The third one might be the hardest one. It is the isometric rear foot elevated split squat. You will put the back foot on a bench behind you. Your front knee will be at around 60 to 90 degrees. Your chest will be up. Your weight will be on the tripod of the foot. And in each of these exercises you will just rest as much as you need until you have been holding the position for 3 minutes in total. The fourth exercise is the single leg stand. Here you only have one option. You will stand on the tripod of your foot and you will bring the opposite leg up. You will hold for 3 minutes on each leg. The balance should feel hard and it should feel like your foot is working. If 3 minutes becomes easy, you can hold weights on your arms. Or you can simply raise the front foot higher up into the air. So here comes something extremely important. It is super important that you listen to this before you work out. The stage 1 isometric is meant to be done without other exercises. You only do these exercises twice a day. You need to remove everything else so that you can build yourself back up and get back pain-free. If there are some exercises that don't hurt you at all and you don't feel in the knees at all, you can keep doing them. That can be swings, handstands, very light flows, as long as you don't load your tendon too much. If you get increased pain from anything, you need to remove those things. For upper body training, you can do whatever you want. If your knee is really painful and it hasn't been loaded like this, you should go a little bit lighter on the quadriceps isometrics. And then you can slowly increase the weight on that exercise. It's very important that you listen to your knee. The knee is the most important thing. It will tell you if it's bad or if it's good. And the muscles, they should feel like they are working hard. If you cannot do the isometric workout twice a day, you have some other options here. You can have one full session and then 6 hours later, you can do just the quadriceps isometric. Or you can have one full session and then 6 hours later, you can come back and do only the third and the fourth exercise. Or you can have one session with only the quadriceps isometrics and everything else will be done in a different session. But I truly recommend that you do it twice a day. It helps you so much and your knee pain will disappear very fast. So for the warm-ups, you can find any type of isometric exercise as long as it's a lighter version of what you need to be doing. For example, if you're using the leg extension, you can simply put it on 5 kilos, 10 kilos, 20 kilos and warm up until you feel like your knee is ready. If it gets really boring, you can mix up the exercises between sessions, but don't mix them up while you're in the session. It can be a bit boring, so it's okay to mix it up once in a while. If the outside of your muscle gets really tight and really sore, there's 3 different exercises that you can do either before or after your workout. The first one is foam rolling. You can foam roll the sides of your quads for 2 minutes on each side. You can also do a couch stretch. You will have your back knee up against the wall and you will push the hip forward so that you feel the stretch in your quad muscle. If you can hold it up without your hands, that's perfect. But if you need to use the hands on something, use your hands. The third one has helped me so much. It is an exercise that I got from my physiotherapist and I call it the banded 3-way stretch. You will do 3 sets of 30 seconds on each leg of each of the sides. If you can do this one daily, I recommend it. In the first one, you're stretching your hamstring and you're holding the band down. And remember, in all of these banded stretches, you want to keep your knee straight. So if your knee cannot be here like I have it, you can simply put it down and that's completely okay. As long as it's straight, then over time you can bring it up. The second one, where it goes over the side here, you should feel it on the side of your quad, which is what you're trying to hit. And then the third one, you will feel it in your adductors. I really recommend that you try this exercise out, as it has helped me so much. So when do you progress from stage 1 isometrics to stage 2 lifting? So the first thing is that your next day pain is regularly at a 3 out of 10 or less. And that is either from using the morning test or from the pain provocation test. You will also have to see improvements in your quadriceps, your calves and your entire leg function. And leg function basically means that you're moving around pain-free and your joints don't feel so stiff. The first thing is that your quadriceps isometric numbers will have improved. That is, for example, in the single leg extension, you're starting to be able to do more weight. And secondly, you will be ready to move on when you can manage to do the foam roller bridge 3 sets of 30 seconds with the calf raises. And the third one is that your isometric lunge and split squat and single leg stand times have improved. And when I say improved, I mean that you are able to hold for 3 minutes, or you are very close to 3 minutes each time. For the other stages, you will still be using this exact isometric workout. And for the quadriceps isometrics, you keep getting stronger. For the foam roller bridge, once you hit the last progression, you will switch around the progressions each session. On day 1, you do the first one, then on the next day, you do the second one, and then on the third day, you do the third one, and you just keep repeating like this. And for the isometric lunge and split squat and single leg stand, you should get to a point where 3 minutes is easy for you and you're able to do it each of the sessions. As your pain has improved, you are now moving on to stage 2, which is lifting. Stage 2 lifting will be a 4-day sequence that you will keep repeating after finishing, or you will have 1 rest day after the 4-day sequence. Day 1 will look like this. Day 2 will look like this. Day 3 will look like this. And day 4 will look like this. One reason why it's important to lift heavy weights is because they have found that moving the knee really fast is often what can cause pain in the knee. Day 1 is squat and split squats. The first one will be Achilles hopping progressions. This is a 7-part progression and you only pick one of the exercises per session. In your first workout, you start with the first exercise. If you can do the exercise easily and you don't get more knee pain the day after, then you can progress to the next exercise next time. In these exercises, you want to be in minimal knee bend, meaning that you're not bending your knee too much and you have good ankle stiffness. That means that you're bouncing a lot from the ankle and you're bouncing fast without dropping the heel. Slight knee bend is okay, but you're trying to load your Achilles tendon first. You should rest at least 1 minute between sets or until you feel like you're fully recovered. The first one is band assisted double leg pogos. You will be holding onto a band and you will be jumping up and down continuously. You will do 4 sets of 25 repetitions. And remember, in these ones, it's not so much about doing huge jumps, so don't bend your knees too much. Try to do most of the movement from the ankles once again. Number 2, we have regular double leg pogos. You will do 4 sets of 20 reps. And it's the same as the other ones. It's the ankles that are doing most of the movement in this one. Third, we have alternate leg pogos. You will do 4 sets of 10 reps on each leg. and you're simply jumping and alternating from leg to leg. Number 4, we have single leg pogos. This is 4 sets of 10 repetitions again. In this one you do not switch from each foot, you're staying on one foot at a time. Number 5, we have low hurdle jumping. You will do 4 sets of 10 continuous jumps. If you have no hurdles to jump over, you can simply just do smaller jumps but where you gain a distance. Number 6 is medium hurdle jumping. Here you do 4 sets again of 10 repetitions. If you don't have hurdles in this one, you will be jumping slightly higher than before. Number 7, we have the double leg tuck jump. You will do 4 sets of 5 reps. Here you should start challenging yourself a little bit more. It's okay to do a slightly bigger knee bend this time. Number 8, the final one, we have single leg tuck jumps. You will do 4 sets of 3 reps on each leg. That's the hopping progressions. Exercise number 2 will be knee dominant squats. You will pick one of 4 squat variations that you can progressively load. And I would recommend picking the one that doesn't hurt your knee, as you just want to strengthen your muscles a lot. If you feel it more in the hips and not so much in the quads and the knees, then I would recommend that you elevate your heels with plates or you do it on a slant board. In the exercises, try as much as you can not to have your upper body over you in front, but try to actually stay upright and go down directly so your knees are brought more to the front. If all the exercises tend to hurt, you might want to go back one stage. And it can also just be an issue of maybe you're pushing your knees a little bit too forward. So try to find the magic spot for you. The only thing you want is progress. And in all of these knee exercises that you will be doing, it is super important that you do it slowly. You do it 3 seconds down and 3 seconds up, because it is fast movements that tend to hurt our knees. So you will be doing a couple of warm-up sets until you feel like the weight is heavy enough but doesn't hurt your knee. 3 out of 10 pain is the maximum you should feel. As you finish your reps, you should have 2 to 3 reps left in the tank. Meaning that when you finish the rep, that shouldn't be the last rep that you were able to do. You should have a few reps left as you're still in the rehab phase. You will have 3 minutes of rest between each set. The reason why you have 3 minutes of rest is because when you are training strength or power, speed, all these things, your body actually needs around 3 minutes to recover so that it is actually training strength. So the 4 different exercises you can pick from is number 1, goblet squat, number 2, front squat, number 3, back squat, or number 4, zercher squat. You will be doing 5 sets, and in the first week it is 5 sets of 5 reps. In the second week it is 5 sets of 4 reps. In the third week it is 5 sets of 3 reps. When you go down a rep, you should be doing it slightly heavier. After having done the knee dominant exercise, you will do number 3, which is split squat. You will pick one of 3 split squat variations that your knee can tolerate well. And once again, it should be one that you can progressively load. As you bend your knee, the front knee should bend to around 90 degrees. If your knee is really sore that day, I recommend that you don't bend your knee too far. You can keep it vertical over your ankle. And the days where it doesn't hurt, you can move your knee forward. Your chest in this exercise should be up, and you should try to just bring your body down vertically. If you lean your upper body forward and your movement becomes like this, it is going to be more a thing for the glutes, and that is not what we are trying to do right now. Once again, it is 3 seconds down and 3 seconds up. If you need to, you can do a couple of warm-up sets again. Once again, at the end of a set, you should have 2 to 3 reps in the tank left. Week 1 is 5 sets of 5 reps. Week 2, 5 sets of 4 reps. Week 3 is 5 sets of 3 reps on each leg. You will have to rest 3 minutes between each set. The 3 different split squat exercises that you can do is number 1, the front foot elevated split squat. Number 2, the regular split squat. And number 3, the rear foot elevated split squat. The third one is the hardest one, but none of these are wrong in any way. You can also play around with the exercises as well. Don't have to only pick one of them. The only thing you want generally to see is pain going away and you being able to do the exercises with more weight and better function. After you have done your split squats, we are moving on to exercise number 4, which is the lateral lunge, meaning lunge from side to side. You can do this without weight if needed, or you can hold a weight in front of your body. You will step to the side and sit slightly back. Your chest should be up while you bend your knee. Remember, in all these exercises you're trying to use the tripod of your foot. This is one of the last exercises, so it's not something that you load heavy. It is just something that you do with very little weight. You will be doing 3 sets of 10 repetitions to each side. The most important thing is that you're trying to keep the movement smooth. What we're trying to work is the insides of our thighs, called the adductors and the groin. You might not have these problems, but later on, when people do big jumps, generally the groin and the adductor is a place that takes a lot of damage. A lot of people get injured there. So in this exercise you just rest as much as you need. So that was the day 1 workout. Day 2 workout will be isometrics. It is the exact same isometrics as we have already done. If you still need to, you can still do the warm-up as I told you before. Day 3 is hip hinge and step up. The first exercise in day 3 is the Achilles hopping progression. Here you either stay on the same Achilles hopping progression or you move on if your pain and your function has gotten better. And remember, it is the day after that really counts to tell you if you have overtrained. One very quick tip for when you train with weight is don't suddenly spike your training. Don't suddenly do too much or put too much weight in just one session. Gradually, very gradually increase, and over a long period of time you won't get injured and you will only get stronger. It's a win-win situation. Exercise number 2 is hip hinge. So once again you will pick a variation that doesn't hurt your body and that you can progressively add more load to. Number 1 exercise that you can pick is the barbell RDL. RDL means Romanian deadlift, and in a Romanian deadlift you don't bend your knees as much as you do in a regular deadlift. Romanian deadlift targets the hamstrings and the glutes a bit more. The second exercise you can pick is the dumbbell or the kettlebell Romanian deadlift. Once again, you don't bend your knees too much. The third exercise is the trap bar deadlift. Tempo, sets, reps, rest, and all these things, they are the same as day 1 split squats and squats. That means 3 seconds down and 3 seconds up. First week 5 sets, 5 reps. Second week 4 reps. You get the deal. 3 minutes rest and so on. It is the same as before. Number 3 exercise is the step up. The step up knee should be bent at around 60 degrees. Once again, it will take you 3 seconds to stand up and 3 seconds to get down. When you stand up, you shouldn't be locking your knee too much. Keep the whole movement smooth. Tempo, sets, reps, and rest are all the same as before. The 5 sets of 5 reps, then the next week you do 5 sets of 4 reps, and so on. Exercise number 4 is the lateral sled drag. That means that you're dragging a sled sideways. This exercise should be heavy and it should also be controlled and slow movement. If it's possible, take large steps. If it's not possible, just take smaller steps in the beginning. You will do 5 sets of 18 meters or 20 meters each side. Simply just rest as much as you need. The last day, day 4, is isometrics and calves plus hips. The first exercise is the quadriceps isometrics. It is one of these exercises. It is not the full isometric workout. The second exercise is you training your soleus muscle. You will do a bent knee calf raise on a machine or with a weight held on top of your knee. You will do it 1 leg at a time. 3 sets of 20 to each side. Here you just need to control the tempo. What you want at the end of the set is that your soleus is tired and fatigued. And you should rest 2 minutes between each set. Number 3, we have the gastrocnemius. This is a straight knee calf raise. You will either do it on a machine or where you hold on to something with 1 hand. It is really important that you train 1 leg at a time because you don't want one side to compensate for you. You want both your sides to become strong. Once again, it will be a controlled tempo. You want your gastroc to be tired and to be fatigued at the end of the set. Here you rest 2 minutes between each set. The 4th one is the bench adductor and abductor. You can do them individually, but I prefer to do them together so that you don't have to do too much work. You find a box or bench that you can elevate one of your feet on, and then the other foot stays on the floor. As you lift yourself up, you're both trying to train your adductors, which is the inside, and your abductors, which is the outside. You will do 4 sets of 25 reps. If it is way too easy, you can take a weight on the side of your hip and use that to make it harder. Rest as needed in between the sets. When you're doing stage 2 lifting, slightly more knee stress activities are allowed. You can try to play around a bit with your sport and figure out things that don't hurt your knee so that you don't become fully stagnant in your sport. Once again, if you do any exercises that hurt your knee, you need to regress and stop doing those exercises. Upper body training, you can do whatever you want. So these strength exercises is part of a 3-week program. When you have completed the 3 weeks, for example, when you complete the 5 sets of 5 reps and you complete the 5 sets of 4 reps and you complete the 5 sets of 3 reps, you should be ready to move on. But if you're not ready to move on because you're still in pain and something hasn't worked out, you simply just start the week over, so you go to 5, 4, 3 again. And you do this until you're ready. For the lifting, I recommend that you do this jogging workout. While you jog and do this kind of stuff, it will also feel like you're actually doing some kind of plyometric mini workout, and it always feels great to feel like you're getting somewhere. So first you will just be jogging for 100 meters. Secondly, you will jog backwards 100 meters. Thirdly, you will shuffle 100 meters to each side. You will karaoke 100 meters to each side as well. And lastly, you will skip 100 meters as well. The 2 things that studies often find is that isometrics work really well for removing tendon pain and stiffening and strengthening the tendon, but doing slow heavy movement also does the same. So that is why we're doing the 3-second down and 3-second up. Once your knee starts to feel better, you have 2 options. You can simply continue with the 3-second down and 3-second up approach. That is something that you do if your knee hurts a lot and if you're scared to push it too far. If it feels okay, I would switch to a more performance-based tempo, which means that you control the movement down and then you explode up. But this should only be used if you're making good progress and you don't get increased pain the next days after. Your reps and sets should be the same, but as you won't be lifting so slowly, that means that you can actually put more weight onto it. But remember, don't overdo it. So now I'll tell you exactly when you have to progress to the next stage, which is store and release. To enter stage 3, your next day pain should be at 3 out of 10 or lower generally throughout these workouts and the days. And once again, you feel it in the morning, or you feel it with the pain provocation test in the morning as well. So to move on to the next step, your knee dominant squat number should improve and your hip hinge numbers should improve as well. It is not 100%, but research shows that you need to have an estimated of 1.5 times body weight in a maximum squat, and then you can be ready to move on to the next thing. Next up, your split squat and your step ups have improved as well, and they are both consistent side to side. You don't have one side that can lift 30 kilos more than the other side, for example. You should also be able to perform the lateral lunge and the lateral sled drag without too much problems. That means that you can do it smooth and fluently and without too much restriction in movement. The last thing that you need to move up to stage 3 is that you have completed all the Achilles hopping progressions. You're now able to perform the single leg tuck jump with good ankle stiffness and without being afraid of hurting your knee. The lifting workouts will stay the same in the next stage. For the knee dominant squat and the hip hinge, you should try to continually get stronger. And so that you don't overload yourself and train a bit too hard, you can start over the Achilles hopping progressions. Alright, so by now you should be ready for stage 3, which is store and release work. Store and release is basically jumping, running, all these type of things. It's a plyometric type of workout. The training will be a 6-day sequence. So you'll be training for 6 days and then you will either keep repeating this 6-day pattern or you will take 1 day of rest after doing it and then keep repeating it. So day 1 is the store and release work. Day 2 is the standard isometric work. It's the same as before. Day 3 is the squat and the split squat. It's the same as before. Day 4, store and release again. Same as the other store and release. Day 5 is isometric and calves, the same as you've done before. And day 6, the last day, is hip hinge and step up, and you have also done that before. So now to explain the store and release work. Stage 1 and stage 2 are basically always the same for all types of athletes, as it is just general tendon strength and general strength. The stage 3 can differ from different types of athletes. In parkour, you both jump a lot, but you also land a lot. So depending on your sport, you might need more of some things and less of other things. As we're doing parkour, we need a mix of different things. As when you do tic-tacs, for example, you're going sideways, so you need some sort of change of direction. You're also going to be striding, doing plyometrics, precisions. This store and release program will be a bit of everything for the legs. If there are some exercises that you really like doing, you can remove some of the other exercises that remind you of them. So you will be doing 12 workouts. If you complete workout number 1 without pain the next day, and your function and everything is really well within the workout, then you can progress to workout number 2 in the following session. If you get pain or your function decreases from that workout, keep doing it until it feels okay. And then you can move on to the next workout. When you're trying to heal your tendon, the main thing that you want is less pain and you want better function in your body. That means that you have to gradually improve. If something keeps causing you pain, it is not the right thing that you're doing, or you're doing too much of that thing. You have a goal that you have to go towards, and to reach that goal, you can't keep hurting yourself and injuring yourself towards that goal. You will have to fix the issue, and then going to the goal will be much easier. So the workouts are structured with exercises that are easier to do, and then they become harder. You will have landing progressions, you will have jumping progressions, you will have acceleration and deceleration, and you will have a change of direction exercise, as we don't use it way too often in parkour. So for all the store and release workouts, you will be doing the jogging warm-up where you jog forwards, backwards, sideways, and so on. And you need to be properly warm, as you're going to be doing some sort of plyometric workout. Workout number 1. First exercise, we're training landing. In the first exercise, we're doing a bilateral trap bar or dumbbell landing. You will be doing 3 sets of 5 repetitions. You will be standing tall with the weights, and then you will be dropping down 60 or 90 degrees depending on what you're training the most, and you can also switch these things around. Once you drop down, you hold it for 2 seconds and then you get back up. Try to focus on going down symmetrically. Number 2 exercise is jumping. Here you will be doing band assisted jumps, and it will be at 50% of your power. It's going to be 4 sets of 20 repetitions. You can hold on to a band, or you can hold on to something where you can remove some of the weight from your body. So your jumps will be from 60 to 90 degrees. You will jump without taking breaks in between the reps. The third exercise is acceleration and deceleration. You will do 6 sets of sprints. You will be doing sprints at 70% of your speed. So remember that your start should not be a full flying sprint. It should be somewhere that feels around 70% of your maximum. And you will be sprinting for 40 meters, and then 20 of the meters you will try to stop slowly and decelerate. The fourth and last exercise will be change of direction. It will be a lateral skater bound. For the lateral skater bounds, you will be doing 5 sets of 8 repetitions to each side. Workout 2. First we start with the landing. Once again, you're doing the bilateral trap bar or the dumbbell land. It is still 3 sets of 5 repetitions. If your knees are doing well from the other session, then I would try to increase the load. So put a little bit of extra weight on the sides and see how your body handles that. Exercise number 2 will be a seated box jump where you do 50% of your maximum power. You will be doing 4 sets of 10 repetitions. As you're not trying to max out, you don't want the box to be too high. It should be something low where your body can get used to jumping again. jump up to the box and don't land straight legged. Try to land in 60 or 90 degrees to get used to parkour landings once again. The third exercise is sprints once again. It is still at 70% speed, but this time you're doing 8 sets instead of 6 sets. So that is 2 extra sets. And the fourth exercise, you will be doing lateral skater bounce once again. 5 sets of 8 reps each side. Each time you do this lateral skater bounce, try to see if you can do them slightly faster. So figure a distance that you're doing consistently and try to see if you can do it faster and faster without hurting your knees. If it's painful, remember to just try to take it slow and do them smaller. Workout 3. Bilateral trap bar or dumbbell land once again. 3 sets of 5 reps. Try to increase the weight once again if your knees are doing well. Exercise number 2 is the standing box jump at 50% of your maximum power. It is once again 4 sets of 10 reps. Once again, you want to try to land at 60 or 90 degrees angle to mimic a parkour landing. Third exercise is once again sprints at 70%, but this time you will be doing 10 sets instead of 8. And the fourth exercise, once again, is lateral skater bounce. 5 sets of 8 reps to each side, and remember to try to do them a little bit faster this time. Workout 4, exercise 1 is the dumbbell split land. You will grab 2 dumbbells and from a standing position you will try to push yourself forward and land on one leg. You will land around 60 or 90 degrees once again. It will be 3 sets of 5 reps on each leg. You will hold the landing for 2 seconds before you go up. You simply stand up and repeat the other side. Exercise number 2 is continuous squat jumps at 50%. This is going to be 4 sets of 10 repetitions. You will land and jump at around 60 or 90 degrees angles again. Remember that they are an introduction to plyometric jumps. So you're not going to be taking too long to jump. You're going to try to do them continuously. So third exercise is sprints, but this time you're doing 100%. You'll be doing 3 sets of maximum sprints. You're going to try to sprint 30 meters and then you have 30 meters to stop yourself. Your deceleration should not be too quick. Try to give yourself some time. Exercise number 4 is lateral skater bounce once again. 5 sets of 8 reps each side. Remember, try to do it slightly faster this time. Workout 5. Once again, it is the dumbbell split land. 3 sets of 5 repetitions on each leg. This time you try to increase the load and put extra weight in your hands. Exercise number 2 is the approach box jump at 50% of your maximum power. You're going to do 4 sets of 10 reps in total. Exercise number 3 is sprints at 100% again. This time you're doing 4 sets instead of 3. And exercise number 4 once again is lateral skater bounce. And try to do them faster this time. Workout 6. Exercise number 1 is the dumbbell split land. You're going to be doing 3 sets of 5 repetitions on each leg. Once again, you try to increase the load this session. Exercise number 2 is the continuous plyo jump. You'll be doing this at around 50% or lower, where you don't force yourself too hard. You will do 4 sets of 8 reps. Here you simply want to do parkour plyometrics, where you try to move forward to get used to the impact and taking off. You will be doing this on 2 feet. Not one in front, not the other in front. 2 feet next to each other. Exercise number 3 is sprints. Once again, it will be at 100% and you will be doing 5 sets this time. Exercise number 4 is lateral skater bounce. 5 sets, 8 reps each side. Remember, try to do it a bit faster this time. Workout 7. Exercise number 1 is a staggered depth drop. You'll be doing 3 sets of 5 landing on each side. That means 10 reps in total. Find something that isn't too high that you can drop from. When you drop forward in this staggered position, you want most of the weight to go to the front foot. You should be landing at around 60 or 90 degrees once again, and you will be holding the position for 2 seconds. Exercise number 2 is the band assisted jump, but this time you will be doing 100%. It is 4 sets of 10 repetitions and you're going to be doing continuous jumps where once again you land at around 60 or 90 degrees, and this time you're trying to push the floor as hard as you can. Exercise number 3 is very short sprints this time, and it's going to be at around 70%. Now you have to get used to stopping forces a bit more. It's going to be 6 sets of 10 meter sprints at 70%, and then you only have 5 meters to try to stop up. So this is more about being able to decelerate. Exercise number 4, once again, is the lateral skater bounce. You're going to be doing 5 sets of 8 reps on each leg. Please try to make it faster. Workout 8. Exercise 1 is once again the staggered depth drop, and you're going to try to increase the fall this time. It is still 3 sets of 5 reps on each side. Exercise number 2 is seated box jump, but this time you're taking off with 100% of your maximum power. It is 4 sets of 5 reps. The box that you're going to be landing on, you can raise it, or you can simply just try to push as hard as you can and land with a little bit more drop. Exercise number 3 is short sprints. Once again, it is at 70%, and you're going to be running 10 meters and stopping at 5 meters. Exercise number 4 is the lateral skater bound. 5 sets of 8 reps on each side, and once again, try to make it a little bit faster. Workout 9. Exercise 1 is the staggered depth drop. 3 sets of 5 each side. Try to increase the height of the fall this time. Exercise number 2, now you're doing the standing box jump at 100% power. You'll be doing 4 sets of 5 reps. Exercise number 3 is short sprints, once again at 70% speed. This time you'll be doing 10 sets instead of 8. You're going to accelerate the 10 meter and stop at 5. Exercise number 4 once again is the lateral skater bounce. Sets of 8 to each side. Try to jump further from each side now, and also try to do them explosively. Workout 10. Exercise 1 is the bilateral jump, which means jumping from 2 legs to landing on 1 leg. You'll be doing 3 sets of 5 on each leg. You will be jumping up and landing on 1 leg, where you stay for 2 seconds, and then you're ready to go for the next rep. Exercise 2 is the continuous squat jump at 100%. You'll be doing 4 sets of 5 repetitions. Remember that you are doing continuous jumps, so you don't stop. You will try to do it plyometrically, where you land at around 60 or 90 degree angle and explode up. Exercise number 3 is short sprints, but this time you're doing it at 100%. You will only be doing 6 sets of these, and it is 10 meters of trying to maximum sprint, and then you have 5 meters to try to stop yourself. Exercise 4 once again is the lateral skater bounce, and it is 5 sets of 8 repetitions. Keep trying to gain more distance and keep trying to do it faster. Workout 11. Exercise 1 is the bilateral jump to unilateral land again. It is 3 sets of 5 landings on each leg. This time you try to jump even higher. Exercise number 2 is the approach box jump at 100% power. 4 sets of 5 repetitions. Now you can really try to push and see how far your body can go. Exercise 3 is the short sprints. Once again, it is at 100%, but this time you're doing 8 sets, and it is still 10 meters of 100% sprint and 5 meters where you try to stop. Exercise 4 is the lateral skater bound. It is 5 sets of 8 reps to each side. Try to jump further and try to do it more explosively. Workout 12, the final workout. Exercise 1 is the bilateral jump to unilateral land once more. It is 3 sets of 5 reps each. This time you try to jump even higher so that there is more force on the landing with the 1 leg. Exercise number 2 is the continuous plyometric jump, and you will be doing this at 100%. You'll be doing 4 sets of 4 repetitions. Here you'll try to jump 4 times in a row as far as you possibly can. Exercise number 3 is the short sprints, once again at 100%, but this time you're doing 10 sets. Remember, it is 10 meters of sprint and 5 meters of stopping. Exercise number 4, the last exercise you're doing, is once again the lateral skater bound, and you're doing 5 sets of 8 reps to each side. Now you should be able to push yourself as far as you can from side to side. The full workout sheets will be listed below. In stage 3, you're allowed to jump a little bit more in your sport, but don't overdo it and try not to hurt yourself too much. You're going to be doing a lot of store and release work, meaning that your body will probably be a little bit tired. But now your body should be getting better and ready to do a little bit more than you're used to. Once again, upper body training. You can do whatever type of upper body training you want to do. Remember, if you're not warm, you can try to do some warm-up sets of the exercise that you want to do. You can try to do them easier than they are. You can, for example, do some mini jumps at 10%, 20%, 30% until you feel like you are warm. You can rest as long as you need in between the sets. In the first 6 workouts, you probably don't need to rest too much as the intensity is not very high. And in the 6 last workouts, you might want to rest more at around 2 to 3 minutes. I recommend 3 minutes if you're trying to push speed and power. The reason why the workouts go store and release, isometric, and then lifting is because usually your knee might hurt from day 1. So the isometric on day 2 should try to help you a little bit. If the 3 days in a row are too hard, there's no problem if you take a rest day in between. If you have a rest day, you can, for example, do an isometric workout if you want to put in a little bit of extra effort. And as you are in stage 3, you're going to be doing a lot more explosive work, meaning that there might be some setbacks, but don't worry, it is completely normal when you are in stage 3. And the only thing you need to do is control your training load and control the intensity of which you're doing this stuff. So when do you progress to stage 4 where you return to your sport? First and foremost, just like all the other ones, when you start waking up with a pain that is below 3 out of 10 or at 3 out of 10 generally during the days, that means that you might be ready to move on. Once again, you know that from the morning after, or you will do the pain provocation test in the morning as well. You will also know that you're more ready to get back to your sport when you can do all these different store and release exercises without being in pain and without being afraid of being in pain. What is important is the feeling that you're not afraid to hurt your knee. If you feel like you're afraid to hurt your knee, it is because you're generally in knee pain, and that is the thing that you have to get out of. You want to get back to the point of thoughtless and fearless movement. You don't want that constant lingering of something might happen or my knee might hurt in any minute now. Once you have done that, you are at stage 4, which is returning to your sport. Your body should be prepared for your sport now, but it is very important now in stage 4 that you actually try to progressively load your training, because it's going to be slightly different from the strength training that you've done, from the store and release training that you've done, especially in parkour where you do huge jumps. So during the next weeks, try to just slowly progress your training, but don't be afraid. For the training schedule, there is not really a training schedule as all people train different things. But your training sequence should be like before. Day 1, store and release. Day 2, isometrics. And day 3 should be lifting. The store and release, of course, should just be replaced with your sport. The stronger and better you get, the more you can do. But in the beginning, I would recommend to not have more than 3 very intense days. Try to keep it at around 3 intense days, or if it's too hard, even 2 days. And remember to try to do heavy lifting 2 times per week. There's a leading scientist for tendons, her name is Jill Cook. She recommends that you do strength training 2 times a week. And it is one of her biggest recommendations that you don't lose strength in your body, no matter what level you're training at. And as I said before, the day after is the most important. For all of your training career, you can always try to see the day after if you have overdone it. If your pain feels over 3 out of 10, you might have overdone it. If it feels around 3 or less, your training has been successful. A few things that you should keep in mind with all of this training stuff is, number 1, you need to eat the right food. That means that you need enough protein during your day. Generally, for all people, you would say that you need 1 gram of protein per 1 kilo of body mass. Number 2 is one of the most important thing. You have to sleep enough. You have to get around 8 to 9 hours of sleep. At night, your tendons and your body repairs itself. So this is very important, and it is something that you need to do well. It is said that it's a good idea to get to bed and wake up around the same time daily. So the third thing that you need to do is that you actually need to move around daily. If you only do this workout once a day, that is not enough if you sit around or you lie down the rest of the day. Your body needs movement, and your body will feel better once you move around. If you don't know what to do, you can simply go for several walks during the day. A simple general guideline, for example, can be that you take 10,000 steps during a day. Number 4 is extremely important, and I've tried to tell you several times. Don't change your load too fast. If you're training with 50 kilos weight, don't all of a sudden put on 80 kilos. That is just going to be too much for the body to handle, and that is generally how injuries occur. Also, another example can be if you don't jump at all and all of a sudden you start doing 100 jumps in a day. Your body is probably not going to be able to handle that load yet. Lastly, remember that your knees and tendons are speaking to you, and you have to remember to listen. It can be during the session, but once again, most important is the day after. Please try to keep track of how you feel the day after, and then you will know if you have done too much. You will know that there's something that you need to change in your training. And that is it for the course, guys. I really hope that this can help you with your knee pain. It has helped me so much, and hopefully if you stick to the program, you will get out of this without pain. I cross my fingers that you recover quickly. See you guys.